We got a developing situation in the NFL, quarterback controversies, and the season ain't even started yet. Plus, players hating on themselves on a Bud's Chicken and Seafood Friday we roll. Take a look at this breaking news. Quarterback named in New England. That's right, the NFL confirms Jacoby Brissett is going to get the job. However, Adam Schefter clarifies. Take a look here. The favorite to start in the battle with rookie quarterback Drake May now gets the Week 1 nod. But May's time is coming. I think that's pretty clear to all. I want you to listen closely to exactly what it is head coach Jerod Mayo says and how he says it, because this is fascinating. Look.
We have decided, or I have decided, that Jacoby Brissett will be our starting quarterback this season. Now, in saying that, as an organization, we're 100% behind Jacoby. There is no, you got a guy right here, you got a guy right there. We're 100% behind Jacoby.
It went from we to I. To clarify, I'm the man in charge. Bill's not here anymore. Also, then, there's no short hook on Jacoby per se. Meanwhile, he says he talked to both quarterbacks together, and they apparently are down with this. Look at this.
I had an opportunity to talk to Drake. I had an opportunity to talk to Jacoby separately and also together. And I feel like we're all on the same page from an organizational perspective.
Because there's winning now, and then there's winning big picture, the short versus the long term. Listen to what he says and how he says it, because this is tricky stuff. Look at here.
The hard part is thinking in the short term and the long term at the same time.
Yeah.
As an organization, though, we feel like Jacoby gives us our best chance to win right now.
Right now is what he said. Meanwhile, he gets asked the question, and this is a tough question to ask and answer. Is this your starting quarterback for the season? Can you say that? Look what Jerod Mayo says and how he says it. Watch.
I don't want to get into hypotheticals. We can't go into the season saying, well, he's going to go X amount of weeks. Like, look, as long as Jacoby's going out there performing the way that we all have confidence in him doing, he'll be our quarterback this season.
Fascinating, but more so the controversy going on in Pittsburgh, because this just came down. It is ESPN confirming the Steelers said Russell Wilson will be Week 1, QB1. Head coach Mike Tomlin has announced. Well, Tomlin had to come meet the media. Tomlin sounds very different than he normally does. Listen closely to the tone and tenor of his announcement, because this is not the normal Mike Tomlin we usually see. Take a look.
I met with both quarterbacks here just a few minutes ago after practice, and I informed them that Russ is QB1 going into Week 1.
That kind of straightforward, but also a little bit. But here's where we hear Tomlin in a way we don't normally hear, and that is worried about egos and worried about comfort level. Listen to what he says about the decision and how difficult it was and why it was difficult. This is actually fascinating.
It was a difficult decision, but not difficult in a negative way, to be quite honest with you. It was difficult in a positive way. The decision was difficult because of what they're capable of doing. Decision was difficult because of how they have conducted themselves, as opposed to the things that they fall short in terms of capabilities or negative conduct.
And what it sounds like is that you got two guys saying the right stuff, doing the right stuff, but clearly not one superstar. Sounds like you got two quarterbacks, which means you got no quarterbacks. Meanwhile, Pete Prisco, CBS, says, hold on with all this Steeler hype. Hold on with all this excitement, because there's still just this team with this quarterback now. Look at this.
Russell Wilson starting a quarterback. Is he better than what they had? Barely.
Wow.
Russell Wilson, as we know him, isn't the same guy. Back in the day when he was in Seattle and they were going to the Super Bowls, they had the #1 ranked scoring defense in the league 4 straight years. They weren't going to the Super Bowls because of Russell Wilson.
Wow.
He was always a tad overrated. Now he's not nearly as good. And everybody looks at his name and they say, oh, Russell Wilson now with the Steelers, put him in as a division favorite. No, they're the worst team in the division.
Wow.
They're not better than the Browns. They're not better than the Bengals. And they're not better than the Ravens.
They might actually be better than the Browns. Questions on the board. Question, which backup quarterback starts first? Is it May in New England, or will it be Fields in Pittsburgh? New England is doing the long-term, big picture thing. They tried to rush a quarterback in, and it didn't really work out. And now they're trying to do the Brady thing, which was, as we know, 23 years ago by accident. They're going to develop Drake May for the future. They're a bad team. They're going to lose a lot of games. They're okay with that for now. Pittsburgh does not want. And by the way, when you sit Russ, you're doing so. That's going to be it. You understand? Now, we're going to see Justin Fields play some. But as far as starting quarterback, when Justin Fields becomes starter, and he will before Drake May, that means that change has happened and is likely to be reversed. Unlikely, rather, to be reversed. We roll on. SLBT.com, St. Lucie Battery and Tire, the home of honest, reliable service since 1970. Speaking of quarterbacks, Josh Allen voted the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. What? In an anonymous poll, 103 players in the NFL Tua and Jalen Hurts tie at number 2. Josh Allen, the most hated on, some might say. Well, I know who says that. Louis Riddick. Listen to what he says and how he goes in on the criticism of Josh Allen. This is wild.
This guy can throw it from anywhere. He can beat me at any time. I have to defend the entire field.
Damn.
Josh Allen does that. He does that. It's that simple.
Wow.
He simply does that. I don't know how he's number 1 on this list. It just makes no sense to me.
And then Kevin Clark on Around the Horn, he said this.
Josh Allen has made that franchise. To say he is overrated is ludicrous.
Meanwhile, Kimberly A. Martin, also on ESPN Get Up, she says, let's evoke the spirit of Mary J. Blige. Look.
This is top tier hateration, misdancery, as the famous Mary J. Blige once said.
But wait, because Josh Allen's going to speak on this. As we move to number 2, presented by Twin Peaks. Each drink scenic views, 29-degree beer. Josh Allen says, I'm not mad. Listen why he claims he's not.
I'm not mad that 11 players not on my team don't like me, right? So that's number one. I actually think that's a term of endearment. When other players don't like me, that means I'm doing something the right way.
Yeah. If you ain't got haters, then you ain't doing something the right way. Josh Allen says that's fine and all. This anonymous poll, I've never been asked to participate in one of these. Here's what Josh Allen says he actually wants.
If they are actual surveys going out, I would love to be a part of that. So hopefully I get the link to the next one.
Yeah, because he wants to hate. He wants to name names as well. Meanwhile, Sports Illustrated, they reported, and they're using adjectives, stunningly voted NFL's most overrated quarterback. And that inspired SI partner LeBron James to reply. He says, I guarantee he's at the top of the scouting report, so who cares? And LeBron's right. But some people say, well, Josh turns the ball over a lot and this and that. The numbers don't lie. Look at this tweet from a football writer who knows. His name is John Frisella, and he says, hold up. Josh Allen turns the ball over at an alarming rate. Somebody actually wrote that to him, he says. Quote, it's amazing how people just groupthink, right? Sheep, they just follow the narrative. They don't have any background or facts. Here are the facts. Josh Allen's interception rate, 2.5% of the time. Who's that better than? How about Joe Montana? How about who else? How about Peyton Manning? How about that? Questions on the board. Question, Josh Allen, overrated or are they straight hating? No, they're straight hating. We get it. He's marketable. He's in that tiny little market in Buffalo. He's on the national ad campaigns for DirecTV and everything else. We get it. But clearly, the man makes plays. Clearly, he's a franchise changer. People, stop with the hating as we continue on to number 1, presented by X Golf West Palm Beach. X Golf WPB on Instagram, open in September the 6th. Not only did Josh Allen win the award as the most overrated quarterback, he also won this. The Buffalo Bills said, talk about it, because he was voted the NFL's biggest/best trash-talking quarterback. Well, Josh Allen replied and said, hold on a second. You're telling me I was voted as the number 1 and you think he's going to say overrated quarterback? And then he turns it into best trash talker? Let's go. Yeah, Josh Allen, the question is on the board. Question, best trash talker. Is that an honor or an insult? First of all, you can't be voted best trash talker and be a terrible player. That's how you know they were lying about who's the most overrated quarterback. That's how you know they were hating. Because if you are voted best trash talker, that means you are backing it up. You are playing the game. You can't be a great trash talker and suck or actually be overrated. Clearly, it's an honor. Clearly, they were hating. Josh proves if I'm this good a trash talker, I must be doing something right. Hit subscribe, hit like, watch the other videos. And remember, kids, while every day above ground is a good day, some are just more questionable than others. Say goodnight to the bad guy. See you on Monday.